accused of throwing her 5-month-old daughter from the roof of a 3-story building has again been delayed. In news from the region, Grenada earns nearly $500 million from Citizen Buy Investment Program, and in sport, Jamaican Alex Powell returned to the podium in round 2 of the inaugural Middle East F4 Championship. The details after this.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Gross negligence. That's how the Commissioner of Police, Dr. Kevin Blake, has described the mishandling of records belonging to the Center for the Investigation of Sexual Offences and Child Abuse, CISOCA. In a statement on the JCF's official website, the Commissioner also declared, as the person with command responsibility over the JCF, he is apologizing not only to the clients of CISOCA, but also to Jamaica. The Commissioner said CISOCA's office was situated at 2A Ruthven Road for over 20 years. However, in 2024, the office was relocated to a new facility at Upper Lady Musgrave Road in St. Andrew. Dr. Blake went on to state that during the transition, some records that could not be accommodated at the new location were securely locked away in a temporary storage facility, which was later vandalized. The Commissioner was adamant that the situation cannot be described as anything less than gross negligence on the part of the JCF. He said the incident took place at a time when the transformation of the force is at an advanced stage and moving at a rapid pace. Meanwhile, Commissioner Blake said the mishandling of CISOCA records is particularly sensitive given the nature of the cases the unit handles. It was noted by the Commissioner that the records pertain to some of the most vulnerable members of society, victims of sexual violence and abuse, and their exposure has the potential to erode trust in the JCF at a time when public confidence is critical. Sections of the Manchester Police Division will be under a curfew this weekend. The measure takes effect at 6:30 p.m. on Saturday and is expected to be lifted at 6:30 p.m. on Monday, January 27. In the Mandeville Police area, the communities to be affected include Mayday, Albion, Green Street and Hillside. In the Williamsfield Police area, the security measure will be enforced in Royal, Flat and Comfort, while the Porus Police area, it will be in Main Street, Broadleaf, Trinity, Hampton and Redbury Roads. Those are the communities that will be affected. Residents within the boundaries of the curfew are required to stay indoors unless otherwise authorized by the police. The case against a St. James woman accused of throwing her 5-month-old daughter from the roof of a 3-story building has again been delayed. Shamoya Green appeared in the St. James Circuit Court via Zoom on Friday, but the matter was pushed back until April 28 as the court is still awaiting an updated psychiatric report. We have more in this report from Dana Davey.
Shamoya Green was charged with the murder of her baby in February of last year. Her mental health condition became apparent during her first court appearance on March 6, 2024. At the time, she claimed to have heard the voices of her children and she collapsed in the prisoner's dock. The court ordered a psychiatric evaluation following that incident. A mental and physical health assessment conducted in July 2024 indicated that she was unfit to plead. It said Green was suffering from a disorder with psychosis brought on by a seizure. Green is accused of throwing her daughter off the roof of her house onto a concrete surface in the yard below on December 6, 2023. She reportedly committed the act after becoming enraged when her partner declined to discuss their relationship as she requested. The infant died while being treated at hospital. Green is being represented by attorney-at-law Gillian Houghton. Supreme Court Judge Justice Judith Pusey wants Green to be present in person for her April 28 fitness to plead hearing. Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
Edelweiss Air, a Swiss leisure and charter airline, has added a second direct flight from Zurich, Switzerland to Montego Bay in St. James. The announcement was made Friday at F-Tour, the Installation Tourism Trade Fair in Madrid, Spain. The new Monday flight service will start in the winter of 2025. It will accompany the existing one on Thursdays, offering more seamless ways for visitors in Europe to experience Jamaica's tourism. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett has welcomed the additional flight service. He says it aligns with Jamaica's push to promote our many luxury offerings to attract more of this demographic of travelers utilizing the Swiss Air network. Minister Bartlett says this expanded air connectivity represents an increase of 3,500 seats. He adds that this will give Jamaica a total of 7,000 for winter 2025-2026 and possibly more. Jamaica welcomed Elder Swiss Air for the first time back in 2021. It offered weekly summer service to Sangster International Airport, Montego Bay, from Zurich, Switzerland. And now to news from the region. Grenada has earned nearly $500 million from the Citizenship by Investment Program CBI last year, according to official figures released. The authorities said that the nationals from China and Nigeria accounted for more than 2,000 of the 5,443 new citizens approved in 2024. The government earned $472.9 million EC last year, but recently Richard Duncan, chairman of the CBI committee, said that less than 600 applications are expected to be submitted for this year because of Grenada's decision to stop accepting Russians to the program. Mr. Duncan said persons are often told that in 2025 things will be nothing like 2024 or 2023. It will go back to pre-pandemic, pre-Ukraine war level application, which is about 550 per year. Grenada was the only country accepting Russian applications following the start of the Ukraine-Russia war in 2021. In the initial days of the war, Grenada had suspended applications from Russia, but it was soon lifted and hundreds of applications were submitted and approved. And now to sport. Jamaican Alex Powell returned to the podium on round 2 of the inaugural Middle East F4 Championship held at the Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi from January 22 to 23. Driving for his new team Race GP, round 2 saw the Mercedes junior driver recording P7 and P5 in qualifying, then finishing 4th in race 1. Aggressive driving in race 2 resulted in his first podium of the event in 3rd, with a brilliant double overtake maneuver in race 3 claiming another 3rd place. Powell's podium finishes moved him up to 5th in the overall standings. This follows his misfortunes in round 1 where he suffered chronic clutch issues. Powell finished outside the points twice in round 1 despite claiming pole position in one of the qualifying sessions. There are 3 rounds left in the 2024 championship. The next race will take place at the Dubai Autodrome circuit on February 8 to 9. And now for a recap of the top stories making the news at noon. Commissioner of Police Dr. Kevin Blake has described the mishandling of Sissoko Records as gross negligence. He has apologized for the incident. Sections of the Manchester Police Division will be under a curfew later today. The case against a St. James woman accused of throwing her 5-month-old daughter from the roof of a 3-story building has again been delayed. And in news from the region, Grenada earns nearly $500 million from Citizen by Investment Program. Remember, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. News is next at 5 o'clock. Over, stay tuned as we will now have Talk Up Youth.
Nobody make your love thing flop. Fontana, are your one-stop shop? Oh yes.
Yes, if you love someone, kiss. Perfumes, wines, teddy bears, and chocolates.
It's all Valentine's inside at Fontana.
Oh, Fontana.
Yes, baby, love me know you want it. Perfume, wines, teddy bears, and chocolate.
You better go Fontana for me.
Fontana, are your one-stop shop?
It's so Valentine's inside at
Valentine's for me at Fontana.
Get qualified in Stage 1 Practical Nursing in only 6 months with City and Guild certificates at IIRQ Academy, located at 32 Hope Road, Kingston 10. Start online and face-to-face classes very soon and get qualified for local and overseas employment at affordable rates. Also available 7 to 9 months international certificate and diplomas in Level 3 certificate in early childhood education, Level 5 diploma in business management, pharmacy technician, medical assistant, medical lab technician, diploma in practical nursing, and travel tourism, hospitality, and entertainment. Register this month and get 2 subjects with your course for free. Call us at 876-322-4029 or 630-1084.
Enough power tool, big to small. Jackama figure dig the wall. Our total tools. Beat waka figure trim the lawn. We have everything a job demand. Total tools. We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When I say home improvement, landscape construction, a Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option. Total Tools located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Sly Road, Kingston, and Lot C6 Jacksaw, Sentence Bay. Call us today.
Upgrade your home or business with Cameron Industries and Joinery Limited. Explore a range of termite-resistant plywood, quartz, solid surface, and granite. Experience timeless elegance with our cedar doors, crafted from premium cedar stock, kiln-dried for durability and beauty. For quality and craftsmanship, visit us at the Trade Center Kingston 10 or Hatfield, Mandeville. Call 876-963-0628-30. Cameron Industries and Joinery Limited. Transform your space today.
For over 30 years, Chris and Charles has been financing your goals, dreams, creating your great moments. Celebrate the occasion with us. Borrow $1 million, pay less than $25,000 monthly, and get 30% off your processing fees. No guarantor needed. Call 876-920-4189 or WhatsApp 876-838-9028. Conditions apply. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles.
Korean solid surface, so versatile and beautiful. It's non-porous, no sealing necessary, renewable and repairable, so easy to clean and maintain, and can be thermoformed into any shape. Choose Korean, the #1 solid surface in the world, when you want beauty and the best for your countertop. Visit Home International Limited, located at 104 Constance Ring Road. Telephone 755-1970
or 276-6448.
Talk Up Youth and talk the truth. I ask the bush that representing for Talk Up Youths here and nationwide, 90 FM, every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Bush!
Real ghetto youth, we know the struggles, we know the truth, alright. Real ghetto youth, Maja Bless representing for Talk Up Youth. Bust it up!
Hey, oh yeah, boy. Listen, right about now we want to tell them. We tell them, say youths, you have to stand for your rights now. Now is the time. Youth for chat and youth for act and youth for unite right now. No silence, you youth. You have to stand for your rights now. Now is the time. Tell the people.
My baby, my Valentine. Can I you to make you what temperature is? If you leave me a good time, I swear. You are like the oxygen I need to survive. I'll be honest. Loving the thought of me, I am so obsessed. I want to chop your heart. Never did it back at this feel. Open up, make us feel. Yeah, my love, one thing. We make a bad man sing. $1,000 I could spend for your head. Talk all they want, I don't care what they say.
It is a beautiful morning right here on Revolutionary Station Nationwide 90 FM. And of course, you know, you're listening to the #1 youth radio show in Jamaica and therefore the world at large. That is the Talk Up Youth radio show this and every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on your radios. Right, I'm sorry, we're really sorry. We should have started from, a good while back. We must apologize for our delay. Of course, we had some technical difficulties and we couldn't have been here sooner. But we're here now, right until 1 p.m. And of course, I'm joined by Kurt Dane, Eccleston.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, we're having a wonderful conversation today. So whether you listen to us on the 90.3, 90.5, 90.7, 90.9 FM band play or flow, we are glad to have you this morning. And it's your boy Nicholas.
And your boy Cerdane, of course.
Was so definitely
Kernick episode.
I mean, it can go on. That's somewhere we can put it on a watch.
Yeah.
Right, but we're going to talk today a little bit about just etiquette in general. So, Cerdane, tell us what's going to happen.
Yeah, so today we'll be taking a journey through the word of good manners, respect, and social grace, because how we present ourselves and interact with others speaks volume, right, Nicholas?
It does.
Etiquette isn't just about, knowing which fork to use at a dinner table, or about kindness, consideration, and making last impressions.
Yes.
In every setting, be it at school, work, or even online, we do and should practice etiquette.
In general. Yeah, I think so. And I feel like it's not a conversation that is oftentimes or frequently had.
Yeah.
But today we're going to just dive into it a little bit with some experts, some persons who will call, who know the thing. It's a different kind of thing. So we're going to talk to them about etiquette today. But before we go any further, we want to kind of just jump on a little bit and let you know what, first of all, comes to mind. Because when you hear etiquette, Jamaican common youth hear the word etiquette, it'd be like, it's kind of girly, it's kind of outdated, or it's only for like the elite. You know them ways.
Yeah,
it kind of so. It's like a big word.
True.
Etiquette, and some persons say etiquette. We don't pronounce it right, but we're not saying nothing. We're not saying nothing. It's a thing. It's a thing. But according to Cambridge Dictionary, it is set out to be like a set of rules, customs that control, like accepted behaviors in a particular social group or social institutions. So it's kind of what is expected, the right thing to do in a particular situation. And when you say the right thing to do, it kind of looks like how you behave, how you sound, how you carry yourself, just the general governance of how, you'd say, oh, this is Nicholas Williamson, he sounds, posh or polished. Them kind of way. That's the only thing that differentiates you from just the average person. And today we're joined by somebody on the line. I think she's there, Miss Amanda Dawson, if she's on now. Miss Amanda Dawson, are you here with us?
Here, thank you for having me.
Most definitely. Before we go any further, we have to, bring it back down to kind of, introduce who you are, right, Cerdane? So, Miss Amanda Dawson.
Okay, so Miss Amanda Dawson is a skilled project manager with expertise, in traditional methodologies. She holds a Master's of Education, certification in project management, and a bachelor's, of course, in law from the UMONA. And also, she's here today to tell us all about the professionalism and career development etiquette.
Yes, basically. So, Miss Dawson, good morning. Welcome to Talk of Youth. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, and once again, thank you for having me. I am feeling good, and it's awesome to be here with you and your listeners.
For sure, we appreciate you being here, and of course, we heard all the accolades behind your name. Project manager, education, masters in education. So which means that of course you are educated at heart. So this is kind of thing that you must do with young people in general. So we want to ask you a first question. Our first question for today is like, along the lines of workplace and work environment, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear etiquette in general?
All right, for me, being a young person and a young person with a vision and hope for myself, one of the things that immediately came to my mind is professional etiquette. When your mother said manners will take you around the world?
That's true.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay, professional etiquette advances you through the professional environment and get you from the entry level point all the way up. I mean, in addition to your qualification as well, of course.
Right. Okay, so I completely agree, because when we hear it, for me, I think the first thing come to mind is like politeness and mannerisms
and formalities.
And formalities. No, along those very same lines, because I feel like one of the biggest things persons tend to miss is just the overall professionalism aspects of how it concerns with etiquette in general. So I want to ask you the question generally, like what role does communication play in like cultivating professionalism and how we can avoid those mistakes?
All right, so that's a good question. And what is general understanding of communication? Communication is simply being able to get across to your listeners the information that you need to get across to them in a coherent way in which they can understand and provide you with a response. And this is critical in terms of etiquette, especially professional etiquette, being able to communicate what you want to communicate in the professional environment in a way that will yield the results that you hope to yield.
Yeah.
And in terms of your communication in the professional environment, it is all about having, and I'm not going to say having good dialect or good language, but being able to adapt the cultural language in the environment. So if it is that you are working in a workplace where standard English is necessary to get across to your clients, to interact with your co-workers and your boss and those who are coming to the business, then you must be versed in communicating in standard English. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's the expectation right there.
Yeah, of course.
All right, awesome. And I'm not saying, don't change your dialect, don't speak patois, but whatever the professional environment in which you are requires, that is what you need to understand, and that is how you need to communicate.
Right.
So adapting to the cultural language of the environment is very important. First.
Yeah, which leads us like into our next aspect, because we want to kind of take into consideration just how we navigate our career building, them ways, because I think it requires some level of poisedness, that comes with it to be able to, because you just spoke about the eloquence of speech. It's like a thing, it's an automatical plus. When they hear you talk about it, they'll be like, oh, okay, so like my look sense. Them ways. But I Cordin has a question that he would want to ask you.
Because I just heard she spoke on, professionalism, so diving started on that part, we like to ask this question: how important is attire in shaping perceptions of professionalism, and what are some key guidelines for dressing for success? Because a lot of times persons always see that, whenever you go to an interview, you should always just formal. Some persons say you should just semi-formal or business casual. So it's really kind of like an issue there in terms of how persons gotta interpret it. So what is your take on it?
All right, that's an excellent question. And did you know your attire is part of professional etiquette as well?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for
All
that.
right.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So when preparing for the work of world, I always tell young people it is good to dress professional.
Yeah.
When you're going for an interview, ensure that you're wearing professional attire, in that you have a nice little blouse, your cleavage is covered. I would recommend, I'm a little old fashioned, and I would recommend that your skirt or your dress be an inch or two below your knees. And so on. In terms of, if you're not so sure, it's good to conduct research before you go out for an interview to see what the company is like. If there's any pictures, if there's any social media presence that they maintain online, it's good to go ahead and conduct your research to see, what might be the appropriate attire, since you have to, make an inference. However, I also do recommend for my males ensuring that your pants is above your waist and you have on your belt and you have on your nice little collared shirt. And as a young person, you don't always have the budget to quickly go out and buy a nice ready-made tailored suit, right? But just purchasing the proper attire that have you looking modest is very important. Staying away from certain bright colors. I recommend staying away from bright colors. And this is kind of controversial because others would say in modern time, bright colors is good, and that's all fine and dandy. I'm a little old fashioned. So I am a dark brown kind of person, your gray, your beige, colors like that. But ensuring that you dress modestly, ensuring that you don't have a lot of earrings on your ears for my ladies, and your makeup is not too plastered on, but it's moderately on if you do wear makeup. And for my males, your hair nicely groomed.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I know, especially for my young males who, like to grow their hair out, and they want to wear braids, and they want to be in plaits sometimes.
Let them know. Let them know. Let them know, please.
That's not appropriate for your professional etiquette. And when first impression is very important in the work of world. So how you present yourself to me on that day of the interview is how the type of person I may consider you to be. So it's important to dress very well. And if you don't know, it's good to just conduct research online. There's a lot of information out there in terms of what is professionally appropriate and what the appropriate attire.
Indeed.
So yes.
Right. And I always say your first impression is your last impression.
Definitely.
And if it is that you're not able to make a good impression the first time, believe me, I don't think you have a chance. But maybe you probably have a chance with some persons for sure.
Yeah.
You know, which kind of leads us to our next question here, Miss Amanda Dawson. You know, like persons tend to, you know, want to know what's the best way to, you know, still be formal and professional while also being themselves, for example, in just interviews and stuff like that. And sometimes I believe it falls under the very same etiquette in how to conduct yourself in interviews and in career sessions, and you know how to sell yourself in a good way whilst also being yourself. You know them ways, because sometimes persons take on a whole different face to be somebody else while, you know, they're applying for a job, or they try to be the most eloquent of speech or the best of the best person in the moment. But you know, how can one maintain like the best of being poised in the most, you know, possible way in high pressure situations like in interviews and presentations?
All right, thank you for that question. And I will just say at all times, it is important to be yourself, right? And even in etiquette, whatever you practice becomes a part of you wherever you show up in the world, whether it's the world of work, whether it's in your, you know, your social groups at home or at school. Whatever you practice becomes a part of you. So yes, be yourself all the time. And practice good etiquette. So good etiquette such as using proper words in an interview. Ensure that you say please, you're using your thank you. You're using good impression. Sometimes you have to be mindful of your facial expression, your body gestures, because these can send a message without you even saying a word.
Yes.
So be mindful that whatever is coming out of your mouth during the interview, your face is not saying the opposite, right?
I think that's a problem. I have, you know, I'm struggling with that one, but it's working out. It's working out.
Yeah. So
exactly. So the interviewers pose a question: do you like to interact with clients and, you know, and so on?
Yeah.
And you're yes, you know, I'd love to give good customer service, yet your face is telling me that you don't. So be very mindful of those.
Be very mindful.
Yeah, very mindful. Very mindful people. Very mindful of that.
So, Mrs. Dawson, following up, so this is now where it slowly comes down and it's coming to the end of the interview, you know, and moments after, you know, a lot of persons will now finish the interview and going home waiting on this call, or, you know, waiting on that moment, you know. So this question is, how can you gracefully follow up with a connection without sort of like appearing a bit pushy or intrusive? How do you follow up with the HR,
That's a good question.
for example, you know, without seeming that you want this more than anyone else?
You know? Them.
Awesome. That's an awesome question, because in modern times, I'm not sure if we're still practicing this, but after an interview, it is always good to send a thank you email to the HR team, or, you know, whomever would have reached out to you from the company, thanking them for the opportunity to be able to present yourself to the panel and so on. So that's the first thing that I would do. Subsequent to an interview, I would send a thank you message.
I'll add that to my notes.
Yeah, definitely. Taking notes.
So in terms of following up, I would advise persons to wait a 2 or 3 days before you do an actual follow-up. And you can simply take up your telephone and give them a call just to inquire that you are following up and you'd like to know if the process if their process have been completed. And usually they will tell you a week, or the length of time that they will need to complete the process, because the process don't end at the interview, but rather upon deliberation of candidates and so on. And then, you know, so that takes them a while. So yes, the first thing, send a thank you email for the opportunity. And the second thing, after a few days or based on the timeline they would have given you, you can take up your phone and give HR a call just to find out if they've concluded the process. And, you know, you're quite interested to know, you know, if you're part of the consideration.
Okay.
So that's what I would do.
And I'm kind of a bit straying away, you know, but this is a question a lot of persons tend to ask, you know, and it's not really out there. How does persons in the HR, you know, aspect tends to deliberate on persons, if they are successful on the job, seeing that they have gone through all of these proper etiquettes, how do they really deliberate and say, because I think two of them sort of had the same answer to these questions, the two of them just, appropriately. So how does the deliberation aspect comes down? How long does it really takes? Is it a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, just a couple of days, because sometimes also HR would say, we get back to you in a couple of days, and then it's a couple of weeks,
Yeah,
so
I feel like that one is for the HRs, really. Because I think it all boils back down to them. I don't know what Ms. Dawson, what you would want to say about that one.
All right. Yes. Well, I'm not an HR specialist, but thanks for the question. On projects, I did have to conduct interviews myself, and it all depends on the company and their process, and their policies. But it's fair to say that deliberation, I have seen on a general basis where we can take up to 5 days to give you a call back, because it's a panel of expert, and it's a team effort, and we have a scoring guide that is used and criteria that we use to assess. So in general, I would say about a week.
Okay, I like that. Thank you so much, Ms. Dawson, for our conversation today. But we wanted to wrap up by you just saying, to the people out there, because I think generally when it comes on to, proper fixing up yourself and being that person, out there, especially for career development aspects and professionalism, I feel as though our young people need to kind of get cemented in that, because there's a whole debate happening, and I might ask you this controversial question to just close off with. There's a whole debate happening with the grooming policy and just grooming in general for students, and the whole conversation on social media surrounding just, is it that the school is school, or school is a place for learning, or you should look anywhere going to school or anywhere going anywhere, but some persons might on the other end say, listen, school is school, work is work, and if it's like you're going to workplace, work is going to allow for you to wear this and that, because work has rules, outer road have rules, just the very same. And I want to hear if they comment on that, while also just giving us just general tips to go forward in just our careers and just professional development as young people.
All right, awesome. Thank you for that. And yes, that's a hot topic now in our space. And I just want to say, your high school is preparing you for the real world. It's your training ground for when you step out into the workplace, and how you attire yourself. And like I said, the practice of how you conduct and carry yourself, how you attire yourself, becomes a part of you. So I won't touch too deeply on it, but my recommendation would be that, just attiring yourself appropriately for school is important. And, that's going to be a part of you and how you represent, brand you, not just in Jamaica, but globally. So my advice would be to young individuals, be mindful of, how you conduct brand new, how you prepare brand new, how you present brand new. And I just wanted to give an advice as well in terms of our digital etiquette. Be mindful of what we put out in the social media space.
Wonderful.
Because more and more employers are using your social media presence to determine if they want it to be a part of their organizations. So just be mindful of the content that you post. Not saying you can't be you, and not saying we're taking away expression of self, but attire brand you, so that brand you can be a global brand that everybody would want to be associated with. And that's my final words. Thank you for having me.
Well, we are grateful. Believe me, we just learned so much from you.
Definitely taking notes.
We're taking notes for sure. Thank you so much, Miss Amanda Dawson. That was Miss Amanda Dawson right there. She is a skilled project manager with expertise, of course, in that area. And of course, she holds a master's in education and, of course, certification in project management and a bachelor's of law from UA. And she was just telling us about professionalism generally and how we as young people can be able to carry ourselves into interviews and into our careers, and just how we carry ourselves in life. And we're going to move to our next conversation now with, I believe, another very, very, very special guest who's on the line. That is Miss Nicole. Is Miss Nicole on the line?
I am right here.
Hi, good day, Miss Nicole. How you doing?
I am well, thank you. How are you both doing?
Listen, we are alive and we're so interested to hear more from you, just because the conversation has been going so well so far. I'm sure you would have heard Miss Dawson, and now we're going to touch into your little, your segment, your big segment, I'd call it, surrounding just, how we can conduct ourselves out there on the road, because, social grace is important, and just dining etiquette is a whole thing that we don't discuss much. We should have our plates here and now, but we don't have our plates. I'm sorry, or knife and our forks, but we don't have that much now. But we're going to kind of just, ease you into the conversation as best as we can, because of course we want to hear so much from you today. So of course, Miss Nicole Henry Dewar, I believe that's how your name is pronounced.
Dewar, yes.
Right, is an entrepreneur, leadership coach, and a training strategist with a passion for personal and professional development. Of course, she is an owner and the chief training strategist of the Arju Training
Gyro Training Solutions.
All right, yeah, I'm glad that you have you here, because believe me, if I didn't have you here now, I'd be butchering your name. Training Solutions, right? And she specializes in the leadership development, team building, sales strategy, and financial education in general. Thank you so much for being here, Miss Nicole.
Thank you for having me.
Right. So the first question that comes to mind when we talk about that aspect of social grace and dining etiquette, is like, what does social grace mean? And why is it important in today's world?
It's a big term, it's a buzz term, and you'd be surprised how simple it is. Because social grace is essentially just being polite and considerate. It's polite and considerate behavior. That is it, It's manners, it's communication that Amanda just spoke about. It's empathy, it's consideration, it is social awareness.
Right. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Because when you hear social grace, the first it came to me. I don't even want to say that. I don't think the people don't need to know that. I'm sorry, but thank you so much.
It is so simple.
It's so simple.
Just have some manners. Communicate. And when we say communicate, it's not just about you speaking, but communication also involves active listening.
Yes.
It's listening, not interrupting, allowing persons to finish a sentence. And pausing, to ensure, or you speaking and allowing somebody else to respond to you, not just a run on.
Yeah, we see that a lot happening for real. We see that a lot, but we didn't even know that. And it's not just for uptown people, it's everybody. It's generally for everybody. But Kurt Dane has a question here.
So Miss Dewar, how can good etiquette enhance both personal and professional relationships? Because I think at times, we sort of put social grace and good etiquette at a side when we're talking to like our colleagues or our friends, and when we are at that board meeting or when we're at that interview,
that's when it comes out.
It comes out. So when do we actually have to put that on and help us in our personal and professional aspect of our
life? All right, so you asked me about 4 questions. So the first thing you asked was, the importance, how it helps.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest ways is that it builds stronger relationships. So good manners will foster trust, respect, positive connections with your friends. Once you have good manners, Amanda said it, your grandmother used to say, manners carry you through the world. I think it was Professor Nuts back in my day, and I'm aging myself now because I'm senior to young people. Manners carry you through the world. And it is true. But manners is also understanding culture. Because what may be considered good manners in our culture is not necessarily good manners in another culture. Or what is good manners or practice in another culture is seen as rude or wrong in our culture. So it is also important, particularly these days we have a lot of students who are leaving and they are going overseas to study. So they are international students, and part of that success is understanding that culture so that you can exercise what they consider manners. Not that you're losing yourself, but you're embracing diversity.
Right. I completely agree. Thank you so much for that, because I don't think we bear that in mind, when we're looking at just or old social etiquette and just etiquette in general, you know, our profession, how we carry ourselves and how we relate to each other. That's the very same. Which leads me to my next question, because I feel like the conversation is not so much had. You know, when we hear etiquette, it's oftentimes in office administration or one of those, you know, office courses or HR courses.
Which is a subject I teach.
Okay. All right.
I teach high school as well.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Big up yourself, teach. Thank you for doing what you're doing. But also, do you think, because I want to ask you this question, do you think in like today's generation or today's society, you know, social manners are fading away, you know, because of the digital age, you know, them kind of ways? We have to take this into consideration.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And we see it every day. We can't even sit to have a meal without having our phones. It's like phones have to be eaten. The phones are replacing some of the utensils that need to be there. And so this is one of the things. I embrace the digital age, and it is good.
Yeah.
But then we have to put limits on it. We have to get back to that situation where we are speaking to each other face to face. You have families, and I have young enough children, not so young, that are in college, and they will be in the house and they're talking to each other from one room to the next room on a cell phone.
Oh my!
You know? And something that my husband and I we practice. We don't get to do it as often as we would like, but we insist on getting it done often enough. Is where the family sits and eat together, and there's no phone, and we actually have a conversation. How was your week? What was the high of your week? What was the low of your week?
Yeah.
Just to have that conversation and to get back there. Just get back to basics. So just put down the phone for a little bit. The digital space has its time and place.
Yes.
But we need to minimize that interaction.
Right.
We see it often in classes, as I tell you, I teach, and persons will say to me, "Miss, I have to write off the notes, or you're going to send an email or something like that." And I know when I send the notes by email, I'm not going to read it enough. So sometimes you have to let them write.
That's true. That's so true.
You know, so we become so dependent on everything digital and stuff that there are some basic skills that we're just losing.
I agree, and I must concur with your point, because I feel as though, for me, I'm a chatterbox at heart, very much a chatterbox, and I feel as though the way how I was raised to communicate, and you probably can hear it in my voice. You know, we never come from money home like that, or English speaking home. But one thing I was taught by my family was that you have to talk to me when you get home. You know, my grandmother ensured that. So when she comes in the evening, you know, you're gonna give her a whole list of what happened today, or you can give her all the stories, because she'll be willing, she'll sit down and she'll hear them all. You know, so when I go in a different space and I just talk, people be like, you know, you love chat. You know, but it's not that me love chat. You know, I'm trying to make a conversation, but the thing is, they don't, I wouldn't even say it's an intellect problem. I feel like it would be wrong to say that. But because they don't know what to say or how to, you know, have a conversation, you know, it seems as though you really love chat, when honestly I don't really love chatting out. You know, every question they ask them be like, yeah man, that's true man. You know, they don't have anything else to add.
And I think, Nicholas, is over a period of time, because cell phones becomes just the new in thing, so persons are not really used to having that face-to-face conversation anymore.
Precisely.
So, the digital age is really taking over social interaction. You know, and speaking of social interaction, Miss Nicole, this question says, this question says, what are some common etiquette mistakes people make in social setting? You know, because a lot of us don't necessarily understand, you know, the particular etiquette to use in a particular social setting. You know? Is it that we have a set of social etiquettes to use in various areas and different environments?
Of course we do. Of course we do. And some of them are so simple. Some of them you already know, but we don't remember them. One of the biggest ones is our punctuality. Jamaicans have this thing I talk about Jamaican time.
Oh Lord.
And as opposed to, you know, regular time. We're supposed to meet at 1 o'clock and you show up at 3. Yeah man, but you don't know, say 1 o'clock Jamaican time that? I mean, people have things to do. People have other commitments. So you can't assume now that we have made an arrangement to meet at 1 o'clock and you're showing up 2 hours later. And it's okay. It's not okay.
Design lab.
Yeah.
It's not okay.
It's
You know,
not
so that's
okay. I agree.
It's not okay. It's not okay.
It's not.
You know, so that's one of the things, or punctuality. The other thing is we are invited somewhere. You are invited somewhere, not you and 5 of your friends.
Lord have mercy.
Wow.
Thank you so much for that one. Put it out there. Let them know, please.
You understand? You are invited. So your friend has invited you. Say, hey, Nicholas, you know, I'm having a little get together. It's my birthday, nothing big, but just come over, come eat, have some wings and 2 drink and stuff with us, and we'll sit down and chat. And you show up with 6 other people. Immediately now, this poor host don't want you feel bad, and them start to count out the amount of wings that they have and all of those things. You know, so some of those are some of the don'ts. Right? Some of the do's: you are running late, call. Something has happened, call. This has happened to me. I am delayed. I apologize. Is it okay for me to still come? I won't be able to make it for another hour. Is it okay? Will you still be available? Just call. Everybody has a cell phone. Right? So that's another thing. So we are using the cell phone when the person is right there, but when we really need to make a call that is important to let persons know what is happening, we're not doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
You understand?
Yeah, I completely understand.
Yeah, those are some of the things. I mean, there's so much more. I know you're pressed for time and you have other questions, but those are some of the things.
Yeah, man. But thank you so much for that, though, because believe me, it's just you extending the common courtesy that you would want anybody to do.
Courtesy.
Yeah, for you. Because believe me, when you put yourself in a situation, the same situation, it would be better for the person to have called you. Can you be like, why you couldn't call me? You know that way you couldn't call me. This is how you would want them to call you. But now we're going to switch over a little bit into more so, you know, table mannerisms and conversations like that, because you were talking a little bit about your family earlier and you know the food thing at the table. And I know, like, I remember when I was in high school, they'd be like, no hands on the table until the food is there, or no phones on the table. You know them ways, because it's bad manners and it's just not a part of the whole etiquette, you know, for table manners. So my first question to you really here is, what are like some of the fundamental rules when it comes on to like dining etiquette that everyone should really know?
All right, so let us take you. So I'm going to walk you through. Let's say that we are at a restaurant or we have gone to somewhere like a hotel. I'm not going to call any hotel name and give any free ads right now. But you are attending a function, and let's say that there are a couple of courses that are going to be served. So I'm going to walk you through that so that you have an understanding. One of the things that I have recognized is that persons will sit at the table and long after, or when the waiter actually comes, it's the waiter that is actually taking down the napkins.
Oh,
so
man.
that is one of the first places you start. You're seated, you take down your napkin and you unfold your napkin in your lap. So you're taking it down to ensure that when the waiter comes to serve, okay, you'll notice that sometimes there are several forks, spoons, and based on the number of courses, it will determine the amount of forks and spoons that you have. Always start from the outside. So eliminate all the confusion. Whichever one is furthest away from the plate, that's the one you start with first. All right. So generally you serve the soup first. The spoon will be on the outside of the knife. So you start there. Generally you have a salad next. The salad would be the fork that is further away from the plate.
Okay.
All right. Then you come to the main course. The knife and the fork. That's going to be beside the plate. So that's what you go to next.
Okay.
So you're going soup spoon, then you're going salad fork, then you're coming into main dining.
Right. All right.
Generally, you will have more than one glass. Your water glass is generally the one that is just above your knife. So you'll probably have a water glass, one for juice or wine. Most persons will have water with their meal, and your water glass or your water goblet is what is placed above your knife. So just as a basic setup.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this is a topic that can be an entire day of training.
It is,
You know,
and
so
that
this
is
a
why.
crash course.
That is why when you come into studio next, we'll have our
We'll have everything.
Yeah, we'll have everything there. We'll even hopefully the producers are listening to this, so we can get food on the plate too. You know,
Right.
so we ensure that we're doing it the right way. And I prefer chicken,
No,
or fish.
it's not in studio. You must say we need to have an outside broadcast.
Oh,
we need to actually go on location. And we need to invite some of the youths and have this as a full training.
Yes, for sure, and that's a very brilliant idea. And I feel like many youth can, benefit from this. It's a big thing that they can benefit from, because believe me, some persons haven't even been taught or even knows how to use a knife and fork, or knows about just table mannerisms as generally we're speaking about here and now. So that's a good idea. We'll probably take you up on it.
Let me just give you one other little point too, because it's something that persons mix up a lot. So if you're having soup, they will probably serve rolls, and so there will be a smaller plate there for your bread. Your plate is generally to the left of your fork.
Okay.
So because most persons are right-handed, they will automatically take the plate to the right. That's not your plate. That's not your bread plate.
So I take up Nicholas' plate.
Your bread plate is to the left of the fork.
Okay.
All right, so remember that too.
Okay, all right.
You know, Nicholas, I remember one day I went to a dinner, a nice formal event, nice formal setting and everything. You know, I was there with some of my friends and colleagues, and, my friend said, which spoon am I supposed to eat from? I said, Jesus, Father, you should eat from the outside. But thank you, of course, for these advice. And, this sort of just ease into the next question of, are there cultural difference in dining etiquettes that people should be aware of when traveling?
Oh, definitely. And I have some very fun ones for you, because I really want to reach youth, and I like when things are light and airy. So, Jamaicans, in our culture, is that we serve enough food.
Yes.
And that is a way of us sharing and showing that we actually care, and that we love people. So we pack up your plate with whole different things and we'll feed you. And if you don't eat off, it's actually like an insult, like the food that tastes good or you not done it.
Well,
you understand?
that for you.
And that is our culture. But did you know that in China, if you actually finish the food, it's an insult to your host?
Really?
Because it's an indication that you were not given enough to satisfy you. And so if you're in China in a setting like that, you leave a small morsel on the plate to indicate to the host that you were served enough and you are full and satisfied.
Wonderful. That's good to know. That's very good to know.
Let's go a little bit over now to Japan. So take it back to Jamaica again, and you are eating and you're at the table and you're actually slurping. And your grandmother would probably slap you or your mother slap you and said, why are you slurping the food like that kind of thing? Whereas in Japan, they are big on noodles. But slurping your noodles is a compliment to the chef that you are enjoying your meal and that the taste is so good.
Okay. Wow. All right.
So culture from country to country, once you're traveling, do a little reading and see what is socially acceptable for them. What is a compliment for that culture versus an insult for that culture.
Right, absolutely.
There are other things like in some cultures, breaking your plate for argument's sake is at some restaurants, and this is not a Greek, it's an indication that your meal was absolutely fabulous.
Okay. All right.
So just for us to understand, you're traveling, do some reading, do some research.
Knowledge is power for you right there. And that's just the epitome of that right there. On to our final question for you, because of course you would have learned so much so far. And I feel like parents who are listening, of course, because we try to reach our youthful populace as best as possible. And if it is that we have our parents who are listening just the very same, how can families teach their children proper manners and social grace from a young age, you would say, or you would think?
First of all, we need to practice what we preach.
That's true.
As parents, we need to practice what we preach. So if you are setting a stage for your children to follow. They're gonna follow you.
Yeah.
Persons are of the belief that you send your children to school and teacher must do everything. Teachers can't do everything, and I'm speaking from experience as an educator.
That's so
Teachers
true.
can't do everything. And educating children, it's a team effort. It's the community, it's the parents, it's the school, it's the church, it's every aspect of that child's life.
Village can raise a
It is what we are exposing our children to, the music they're listening to, the things they're watching, the allowances that we are making. If a child is crying because you have taken away the tablet to say, okay, you have spent an hour on the tablet, no more time, and they're going to throw a tantrum and you give them back, what's going to happen the next time? They're going to throw another tantrum,
That's
so
right.
you give them back.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a matter of behaving in a way that you want the children to emulate. So you want them to have proper manners, you have to do that. It's the way you speak to each other in the household. So as parents, even if there is a disagreement, you're not having a blow-up argument in front of the children, because it's what they're going to learn.
Yes.
It's what they're going to internalize, and it's what they're going to mimic.
Precisely. Yeah, I
Right?
completely
So
agree.
it starts there.
And we always say it, you know what a child practices what he learns.
Yeah,
you know, and
Definitely.
how we train them, of course, when they get older, that's what they'll continue to do. So I believe the foundation for every socialization starts with the family. And I feel as though if it is that we can teach our children the right way, then we can go the right way, and we have a better society, a better Jamaica. You know, we have, better, future generations coming up who are well educated and who knows, the different social graces and etiquettes that they need to carry on just the very same. So what are like your final words? Because you've been powerful this evening or this afternoon. So let us know like your final words of wisdom to like, or young people to value etiquette in general, in our everyday life.
So etiquette is something that can be learned. It's not something you're born with. So do not feel that you are inadequate in any way because you don't know something. You can learn it. We all have access to the internet, and there are training videos there. If you're going out and you're uncertain of something, as they would say, Google it. Read.
Google it.
Google it, read it, watch a YouTube video. Ask questions. I tell my students every day, the only stupid question is an unasked one, because you'll never get an answer and you'll never be able to move forward.
I agree.
Ask questions, do your research, and just know that you are not born with everything, but certainly you can learn a lot of things.
Wow. Thank you so much, Miss Nicole. We appreciate our conversation for today. You were brilliant, stunning, even just, spewing out knowledge everywhere.
Indeed.
Thank you so much for being here with us, and we enjoyed our conversation with you. Of course, we're going to have you back next time. You know them ways.
Thank you so much. And I just want
to...
Thank you so much. Just one interjection. So I am a member of Youth Education Association.
Okay.
And we are a non-profit. And one of the things, I have been involved in youth development and mentorship.
Yes.
And one of the things that we do from time to time, and this is free of cost, is to have trainings such as this. We generally will put them out when we're going to have them. They're online, talking about how you brand yourself, how you behave in social settings, preparing for interviews. So just follow us on all of the social media platforms. Youth Education Association. We're a non-profit organization, and we are geared towards youth development and education.
Right. And we're hearing it from the best of the best, because she would have sounded just the very same a while ago, like she's in youth and education. We love that. We love that so much. Thank you so much again, Miss Nicole, for your time being with us today. Curtin, you've learned a lot today, right?
Man, I learned a lot.
Like one thing we learned.
One thing I learned was about the international practices. For example, eating off your food can definitely be something disrespectful to some hosts, whilst eating off everything shows the host that the food is great.
Yes.
So it definitely takes a lot, to adjust. But automatically, once you get it, it's just going to become free.
Yes, precisely. And we're on the hour. We're at 12:59 today, and believe me, we started late, But of course, you're going to be here again next week from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. This on your radio, this and every Saturday, the Talk Up Youth Radio Show. For sure, we're going to close off now. Thank you so much. I hope you would have learned so much about etiquette, because of course, it is the way how we're going to move forward. It is the way how we talk to people, our families, our friends, our professional life. Yeah. And if it is that we can have a grasp on our professional life, of course, or just our general social life, we'll be better off in the future. So we're going to close out. I want to thank so much our executive producer, Madame Empress Goldin, herself, right there. And I want to thank Nationwide 90 FM for also allowing us to be here today. And of course, our producers, Damien Scarlett and Damien Rose, and our studio engineer over that side. Big up yourself, my G. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, on behalf of myself, Nicholas Williamson, and
the Nationwide family, we want to wish you a safe, respectful, restful, a peaceful weekend.
Yes, on behalf of Curdy too, Nicholas and Curdy, we're hosting the show together. Thank
and
you.
The Talk of Youth family.
Yes, and the Talk of Youth family and Nationwide family, as you would have rightfully said. Yeah. And we're going to see you all next week at a full show. You're not going to miss it at all. Yeah. So see you next week. Talk of Youth, Mr. Fit. Talk of Youth. Until next week. Bye-bye.
My baby, my Valentine. Can I hit the Mickey with temperature days? If you leave me a good time, I swear you are like the oxygen I need to survive. I'll be honest, loving the thought of me. I am so obsessed.
Get better paying jobs overseas and locally with City and Guilds International Skills Certificate.
Secure your land, secure your title. To Marshall's Pharmacy today for your free medication management consultation. Let us guide you in taking care of what matters most, the health of you and your family. Shop now for gifts, personal care, household and stationery items, plus print services powered by Print Corner. Follow us on Instagram at Marshall's Pharmacy. Call or WhatsApp us at 876-491-7841. We are open late every day to serve you.
Who shops at Creative Building Finishes? You, the homeowner who creates luxurious spaces with our floor and wall tiles. The contractor and builder who are convinced that our ceramic tiles are right for the job. The architect and designer who make dreams come true with our wood look and porcelain tiles. Superior customer service, knowledgeable staff, inviting showroom, and you get where this is going, right? Shop 5 Red Hills Road or call 876-929-5553. Get tiles, get Creative Building Finishes.
Outperform, outlast, with top performance, Jackama, reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Fan select tools, free parts and free repair.